everyone to the Springfield Township Board of Trustees meeting. It's August 12th, 2025 at approximately 5:30 p.m. Mr. Burning, can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, Ms. Braun?
Present.
Mr. Honolo?
Present.
Mr. Burning?
Present.
All the trustees are present.
If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and maybe the lacrosse team can lead us.
I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next on the agenda, we have a presentation to the St. Xavier High School lacrosse team for the Ohio High School Division I State Championship.
Down front.
Congratulations, guys. I'm a bomber myself. This is a proclamation in recognition of the St. Xavier High School lacrosse team winning the 2025 Division I Ohio State Championship. Whereas St. Xavier High School lacrosse team finished the 2025 season with a 19-2 record, and whereas the team defeated Cleveland St. Ignatius High School in the state championship with a score of 12-6 on June 8, 2025 in historic Crew Stadium in Columbus, and whereas the demanding athletic competition requires the highest level of skills, determination, teamwork, and focus on selfless commitment to others. And whereas these outstanding high school players have represented themselves, their family, their school, and their community proudly. And whereas this was the 5th state championship in program history. Now therefore, the Springfield Town Board of Trustees hereby commends, congratulates, and gives special recognition to the St. Xavier High School lacrosse team for its extraordinary achievement, and hereby proclaims August 12, 2025 to be St. Xavier High School Lacrosse Day in all of Springfield Township by order of the Springfield Township Board of Trustees, Hamilton County, Ohio. Congratulations. Coach, you want to say something?
I just wanted to thank the trustees in Springfield Township. It's really a privilege to be honored, and we appreciate it. And our guys overcame a lot of adversity this year, and we're extremely proud. And thanks again.
All right, let's scooch in close. We're going to take a picture. All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. Wonderful, thank you.
Sign goes up on the street. We see it every day.
What's wrong?
On the other side? I saw one over there. Does that mean you guys meet yourself?
All right, next on to our approval of the minutes. I'd like to approve the minutes for the regular session July 8th, 2025, and the regular work session July 22nd, 2025. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mr. Burning, if we could have a financial report.
Yes, Mr. Burning, for the month ending July 31st, 2025, the township expenditures were $2,972,243.53, and our receipts were $2,130,911.28. That gives us an ending cash balance of $25,191,764.31. This includes obligations to expenditures, payroll, regular operating costs, ongoing capital improvements, projects, and investments. What I do request from the board is the approval of receipts, warrants, payroll expenditures, update and current revenue and reports for the period ending July 31st, 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, and I want everyone to know that our reports are available here at the Administration Building during regular business hours and on our website 24/7. Thank you, Mr. Burning.
Thank you, Mr. Bernie. Ms. Kennedy, do you have an action and discussion items report for us tonight?
I do, Mr. Burning, thank you. The only two action items on the agenda this evening are actually related, so if you wouldn't mind entertaining me for just a minute, I thought I would explain the two action items and how they're related to each other. About a year and a half ago, the township was approached by a business on Caldwell Drive, which is one of the southernmost portions of the township. I think a lot of people don't even realize that that is Springfield Township. I mean, you're practically in the city of Cincinnati at that point. But there's a number of industrial businesses in the township along Caldwell Drive. And over the years, they have experienced some flooding due to some stormwater issues in that area. Now, it is in a floodplain, so there's only so much that you can do to remediate that issue. But it became a business retention and economic development need for the township to do some of this stormwater work. I'm going to say back in 2016 or 2017, we had a flooding event down in this area that actually caused one kitchen and plumbing and bath warehouse to leave the township because they just couldn't take the repeated damage to their storefront anymore. So that was it was a loss for the township to lose this business, and so it became a real economic development driver for us to do as much as we can to remediate some of this stormwater flooding issue to prevent anyone else from needing to leave. So what the township did is we applied for a grant from the county at the end of '23, and we were given the award, I want to say early '24, for $850,000 to study the stormwater flooding issue, what was really the root cause of it, and then to come up with a master plan to, in phases, bring some solutions to mitigate some of this stormwater flooding. And then the next step of that would then be to do the design work and the actual construction to implement the phases of this sort of multi-phased approach to mitigate this flooding. So the first action item for the board's consideration is actually to award the bid. We had published requests for qualifications from engineering firms to do the design and engineering work for the first phase of this construction project. So this is just for the engineering and design work that needed to be done. So again, the first action item is to award the bid and authorize the administrator to enter into an agreement with Strand Associates for phase 1 of the Silly Creek Congress Run Stormwater Improvement Project. So if there's a motion to award that bid, yep.
So.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
So the next action item, as I said, is related to this project. After the township was awarded this first grant from the county, it was their Hamilton County Stormwater Improvement Grant. We applied for another grant with the county called their Economic Improvement Program Grant, which we were awarded, and we were awarded that grant in the amount of $600,000. And that'll be just for the construction of phase 1. So we've gotten the funding to do the study of the issue, coming up with a master plan, a phased approach to mitigate the stormwater flooding, and now we've received some funding in addition to the $850,000 to actually do the construction of phase 1. We were also recently, if I can add, awarded some money from FEMA in their flood mitigation assistance program. So all in all, the township has received about $1.5 million to study and implement a phase of the construction project to hopefully alleviate the flooding that these businesses experience. So the second action item that I would ask the board to consider is to enter an agreement with Hamilton County to receive the funding from the Economic Impact Program grant.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
And I would just like to say for everybody out there, this has been a problem for a long, long time. I know Laura, we were talking about this earlier, probably 20, 25 years ago. We had all the people down on Silly Creek. This is one of the creeks that dumps into the Mill Creek, complaining of flooding. At that time, Laura got all the property owners except for one to agree to a project that we were going to try and open up that channel, make it, make it bigger so it'll take more capacity without flooding the properties. But the whole project was held up because the county said, we're not going to do it unless you get everybody involved. And this is great that we're doing, that we're getting this, and we're able to do it. We've received $1,555,000 in grants to help solve this problem for our citizens and our businesses. And that's, I think it's, for that part of the township, this is down near Vine Street, down that way, this is going to be a big deal for them. So thank you, Kathleen, for all you've done to make this a reality.
Yeah, I'm happy to. So those are the only two action items this evening. Moving on to the discussion items, our personnel update. We had the resignation of receptionist Diana Wood, and then a position transfer of Robin Games into that receptionist position. We stole her from the Art Center, if I can say it that way. She was pre-vetted by the Art Center. We're happy to have her in the administration building. And then in the fire department, we had the resignation of Marshall Murphy, part-time paramedic firefighter, and the resignation of Josh King, part-time EMT firefighter. No activity in the police department, public works department, community arts center, other than Robin leaving, and then Dart. I'm not going to rub it in anymore. I won't. That's it for the personnel update. I'll turn it over to Ms. Flam for community events and programs.
Thank you so much. We have 2 events in September. The first one is September the 13th, and that is a dinner theater program called Backtrack Vocals. It is an a cappella pop group. They are coming from New York to Cincinnati for a one-night only show over at the Grove Event Center. Tickets are available for that with dinner and without dinner, and that is being catered by High Green. And then we are continuing and doing a second movie night. We just had one over in the neighborhood of Pleasant Run Farms. Our next one is going to be over in West College Hill, and that is going to be on September the 19th. We're showing the movie If, which is Imaginary Friends, and activities will start at 7:00 p.m. and the movie will begin at 8, and that is free to the community.
Thank you, Kim. Moving on to departmental activity reports. Chief Niehaus, you want to tell us what's happening in the police department?
Sure, good evening. So August is shaping up to be a pretty busy month for the police department. I think one of the biggest priorities for this month has been the development of an initiative that was created by a community engagement team, which was really developing what we have termed the voluntary camera reporting program. And what that really is seeking collaboration with our residents and businesses to voluntarily go online and report where their either home security camera systems are or their security cameras in their businesses are. And what that does for the police department, it just simply plots them on a map. It doesn't give the police department access to those individual cameras for us to go and remotely review them. But what it does is it really enhances our efficiency when it comes to criminal investigations, because we can go on and look at the map and find out where those cameras are. And then it also gives us a point of contact for those cameras, so we can either email, reach out, make a phone call to that resident or that business to obtain some video camera footage that we may need. I think as we were developing this program, we also saw another approach that we could take too as far as crime prevention is concerned. What we're looking to do in all of our communities, in all the neighborhoods, is replace our crime prevention signs with a new sign that talks about this voluntary camera reporting program, and it gives a QR code that residents can just scan. It's a quick 2 minutes to report their cameras, but in that same link, it also gives you the opportunity to submit a crime tip, either with your name and information or anonymously. And we've seen great success with that in the past with that crime reporting system. So we look to enhance that and help push that out to the community. So we look forward to seeing those signs in these neighborhoods go up here relatively soon. I think the second project, it's been long awaited for us, is the installation of the 6 new speed cameras on Winton Road, 2 of them on Winton down near Hellwig Park, 2 more up in front of the elementary school, and then the last 2 on the southern end of Winton Road up near the Greek church. Those were strategically placed in locations where we've typically seen higher speeds, aggressive driving, distracted driving. And they were put there for a couple reasons, right? One of the things that we've looked and we've invested heavily in over the last 6+ months is really our efforts to kind of curb those driving issues on Winton Road, especially in the corridor. I think from the police department's perspective, what we look at trying to accomplish is just not simply through enforcement, meaning we're not just trying to write tickets to fix the problem. So we're coupling enforcement with the visibility of having officers out there, along with these speed cameras, so it actually alerts those operators to what their speeds are as they're traveling up and down the roadway. Now, on the back side of that, the big help for the police department is those cameras capture data. And it's extremely important for us because not only does it capture volume of traffic at times a day, but also speeds at specific times during the day. So instead of us arbitrarily going out on Winton Road and trying to identify those distracted drivers or those speeders, we can use that data in those cameras to really pinpoint the times and locations where we need to be able to address those issues. So it's really a multi-pronged approach that I think that we've seen a lot of success with so far. So hopefully we can continue with that success here in the future. And then the very last thing that we're working on this month, something that's extremely important to the police department, is our participation in the CLIA accreditation process. For those in the community that don't know what that is, the CLIA stands for the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. And really what that is, and our agency has been accredited since 1999, what that really does is it states and says that the Springfield Township Police Department submits to the best practices, standards, policies and procedures in the industry, not only regionally and nationally, but also internationally. And once a year, an assessor, a third party, comes into our organization remotely and reviews our policies and procedures and ensures that we're complying with those policies and procedures. We are beginning that remote-based assessment this coming Friday. Usually takes about a week or so to complete and work through it with the assessor. So I think August is shaping up to be a busy month, but very successful for the department.
Thank you. Thanks, Chris. Chief Miller,
Good evening.
what's going on in the fire department?
It's been a busy month as far as our public education events. Obviously, we're involved in the back-to-school events, as Kim was just talking about. We held our Kids Fire Academy this past month, which went very well. We've also participated in some smaller touch-a-truck type events at the YMCA, Winton Woods, some day camps, things like that. We've also been involved with Central Park residents as far as assisting them with smoke detectors, checking their smoke detectors, replacing them as needed. So if anyone is interested in any type of education event, community event, you can reach out to the fire department. We'll make sure we get somebody there. Also, just a reminder, our fire department open house is Saturday, October 11th, and that'll be from noon to 3 here at the firehouse on Winton Road. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And Scott, I know you've just been laying low in the Public Works Department, just taking it easy, right?
Yep, there's nothing going on.
Nothing going on.
So, I know we talk about brush pickup all the time, but brush has tripled, I believe, since we brought the brush service back 4 years ago. So we have 437 stops in the month of July alone. So we're averaging around 100 stops, which takes two crews of 2. It's almost 2 days worth to get all that done. But more importantly, I think I touched on this last month, that we were awarded a $395,000 grant for sodium chloride reduction. That's to improve our liquids program and our snow removal. I know we don't want to hear about that now, but we do have to start working on snow and ice that season now. So with that, we want to purchase a brine maker that can actually make brine, 3,800 gallons of brine per hour. The current machine we have now is making about 600 gallons per hour. So that's going to be able to increase the amount of liquids that we can add with our salt. We have more liquids on hand. We use less salt. Salt we know is, somewhere around $85 a ton. So the more liquids we can combine with the salt, it cuts down our cost. Plus, when we add liquids to it, it definitely makes it more effective quickly. So that's kind of where we're at there, working on our liquid system and trying to build that program up as each year goes by. So
Scott, where do we get the grant?
right through the Ohio EPA.
Ohio EPA?
Yep.
Okay, good.
So
I
it
was
was,
going to add, actually, the reason that the Ohio EPA awarded the grant is because the brine process is actually more environmentally friendly. Is that right, Scott?
exactly.
Yeah.
It basically dilutes it. So you're diluting, you have less salt going down your stormwater, your storm
And the
sewers.
salt tears up the roads.
Exactly. So, and what we've learned is when you mix an 80-20 mix, it's 80% salt brine, 20% magic minus zero. So that's that product that we all learned it's a byproduct of the distillery. It's got molasses, it's got this, and it's got that. It's not the best smelling, and it's a brown look, but it also has a residual effect. And you can also pre-treat. So a lot of times in our parking lots, some of our streets, you'll see the lines going in there. And it's really, really effective when the snow begins to not have that layer where you're trying to scratch off that ice. So we can basically clear the street much faster, and we're using a liquid product versus the salt. So we're pretty happy about that and pretty excited to keep building on that.
Yeah, that's great. And then I think we also provide some of that brine to some neighboring jurisdictions. Is that right?
We do. We help Mount Healthy and we help Lincoln Heights with that as well. And there's been other municipalities come over and look at our program and say, how do we get started? Because our program's probably about 6 years old now since we just started it. And every year we've increased it because we've seen the benefit. And our neighbors at Mount Healthy were like, what do you guys do? They couldn't believe. So we've helped them improve their program as well, which I think is always good neighbors to help out like that. So, but that's all I have there. So,
That's great. Thank you, Scott.
thanks.
That's it for the the administrator's report.
Thank you, Ms. Kennedy. Next on the agenda, we have our resolutions. The first one is Resolution Number 64, 2025, declaring motor vehicles located on public or private property in Springfield Township, Hamilton County, Ohio, to be junk motor vehicles pursuant to Revised Code 505.173, and ordering the removal of such vehicles pursuant to Resolution Number 80, 2012, and Revised Code 505.871. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded?
Ms. Braun?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Next is Resolution Number 65, 2025, declaring nuisances pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 505.87 at various listed properties within Springfield Township and authorizing statutory actions necessary to abate the nuisances. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded?
Ms. Braun?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
And the last one is Resolution Number 66, 2025, establishing assessment for abatement of nuisance and certifying same to the Hamilton County Auditor. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Seconded?
Ms. Braun?
Aye.
Mr. Honolo?
Aye.
Mr. Bernie?
Aye.
Resolution carries.
All right, next, do we have any old or new business?
I do not have any old
I do not have any old or new business.
Next is our citizen participation. If anybody would like to address the board, please feel free to come up and state your name and address. And if everybody could be quiet while they're doing such, that would be great.
Good evening. My name is Althea Barnett, and first I'd like to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to address you. I live on Butterfly Court here in Springfield Township. It's a little street that probably, if you've never had a reason to be on Butterfly Court, you probably never was. But Butterfly Court is right off of Galbraith Road and Springdew, and then Butterfly Court. There's about 10, 12 houses on our street. The reason I wanted to address you this evening is because we have a big concern, we have a big problem on our street, and the problem is the street. We've spoken with, I think, everybody that there is to speak to about the condition of our street. And when I say the condition, I actually brought pictures of what our street looks like now. And even though last week there was some work done on the street is still a mess. So who do I give my pictures to?
Yeah, we can bring
Okay.
it here.
And I will quickly go over what those pictures are, because it pretty much details how messy our street is. It's one of the originals, it's the original street that was poured when the houses were built. And so that goes back into the 60s, about the 60s or 90s.
In the 60s, I was playing
Okay.
early football back there.
Okay, so to the 70s, so about the time I graduated from high school. And the street is just cracking up. And I realize that you all have done what you could in fixing the streets, but I've lived there for 6 years now. And in the 6 years that I've lived on Butterfly Court, the street has been patched, okay, in various places where it's kind of, tearing up. And then we get rain. And when we get rain, then everywhere that the street has been patched, it has pebbles again, pebbles and rocks. So when you drive up our street or down our street, you get bumpity, bumpity, bumpity bump, all the way, on the street. And what has begun to happen with a lot of people who live on the street or people who visited us is that those little rocks and pebbles are now hitting our cars. And we're getting pings in our cars because of that. And then also, I think on the picture, okay, the numbers 1 and 2 pictures is what the street looked like, before it was patched up last week. And then pictures numbers 3, 4, and 5 shows you where the patches are. But then on the last picture, number 5, there's actually a point where the road is not even. So when you hit the road, it kind of, your tires are getting a lot of damage to them because of the way that it is hitting, where there hasn't been any improvements made. And this is all the way up and down the street. Okay, I am by no means an engineer that can talk about how it should be or what it should look like. All I know is it's a mess. It really is messy. And the more it rains, the worse it gets. Again,
It's rained a lot this year.
I'm sorry?
It's rained a lot this year.
Yes, it has. And basically, what we're asking for at this point is for repavement. The spots where you fix, the road where you lay a little bit of tar and it's there for a while, it only lasts a little while, and then we're back to where we started. And even in front of people's driveways, and again, not only on the main part of the street, it's right at people's driveways and even on some of the parts of the sidewalk. So it's really pretty bad. Now, who have I talked to about this problem? I think just about everybody that I could get a phone number or an email for. So I have made contact with Springfield Township Department of Public Services, the director. I've spoken with the Hamilton County Auditor's Office, because I'm telling you, I went to them and I said, is there any way, you know how they have people who, when they're in a disagreement with their landlord and they can hold their checks, their rental checks until the landlord fixes the problem? Well, I wanted to know, can we withhold our property taxes until they fix our streets? And they sent me to another department, the Hamilton County Engineers and Facilities Office. And of course, I went to them because I said, well, we're not getting much action from Springfield Township, so, you know, let me see, we're in Hamilton County. Let me see what they can do. And so that's why I went to all these Hamilton County offices. I also spoke to the Hamilton County, one of the commissioner's office, and I spoke to a state representative. So as you can see, I've gone to just about everybody I know, and they said, have you talked to your township trustees? And I said, nope. So that's what brings me here today, to talk to you about this problem. And they've all agreed, yes, we do have a problem. We have a serious problem, because I've invited everyone that I've talked to, take a drive up Butterfly Court, and you will see what we're talking about. And so some of them have. I've been informed, yes, I did drive on your street, and it is pretty bad. You know, Springdew is the street that we're off of, and Springdew is pretty bad as well, but Springdew is not my fight.
You got to use Springdew to get to your.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But, you know, and Springdew was aware that we would be here this evening and invited to come. But, again, it's Butterfly Court. And Butterfly Court is actually worse than Springdew. So I am, you know, here to, again, tell you what our concern is, and taking the advice of all the people that I've spoken with who said, talk to your township trustees to let you know that, you know, it is a problem here. And we would really like for you to take a look at our situation. We know the budget. I've heard the budget, you know, 110 times I've heard about the budget. And, you know, I understand that. But, you know, we're all on a budget, too, and we still have to pay our property taxes. So some way, somehow, we figure it out, how to pay the taxes and how to keep our households running. And we'd like for you to try and figure out, you know, in spite of the budget, how to fix our streets. Thank you so much for allowing me this time. Anybody have anything else to say?
Thank you for coming. I would like you to, at some point, meet with Scott.
And I've spoken with Scott.
I want you to meet with him and let him go out and look at it with you and take a look and see if there's anything we can do.
Okay.
You know, I can say, in Springfield Township, this is something that's chronic, that has gone on for many, many years. I mean, going back a decade ago, the board decided we have to increase our road levy, because we have all these streets. You got 400 lane miles. Tell me where I'm getting.
92 lane miles over
400 streets, 92 lane miles. And it, you know, I can remember when it didn't cost that much to do a mile of street. Now it's, what would be an average cost, Scott, to renovate a mile of street?
Springfield Butterfly, 1.3 million.
Springfield and
Springdew and Butterfly.
Full rehabilitation, $1.3 million.
So we're talking about 1.3 million. Our road levy that we dedicated road levy comes every year is less than 500,000.
Correct.
So that kind of, and that's your one little area of the township. Now, with that said, we decided quite a few years ago that we have to try some innovative approaches, and we have fixed more streets in the township, I would say, in the last 5 years than we have at any time in the township's history. And we did that by starting a program where we go out to places and say, before your street gets so bad we have to redo the whole thing, we're going to try to mill it down, put in, you know, rehabilitate the street. And we've asked people in each subdivision, would you pay a small amount of additional taxes so that we can, do that. So you get some participation. Every place that we've done it in the township, the people said, yeah, I'll pay that extra $50 a year, $60, $70, whatever it is, to get a new street. And so it's worked very well. I don't think it's going to work on this street because what we would have to tell you, you'd have to pay, you'd say no.
Yeah, well, I guess just to add to that, Mr. Honolo, if I may, actually, in June of this year, the township submitted an application to the Transit Infrastructure Program, which is a statewide grant program to hopefully help fill that gap of that $1.3 million that it'll cost to repair that road. So we actually submitted an application for Springdew and Butterfly. I don't know when we anticipate hearing back on that grant. Second week of September. So, yeah, I mean,
That's
Second week of September, do you
Yeah.
guys get that?
hopefully,
that's when we
we'll have
find
some
out.
good news for you to say that we have, the project at least, if, it probably won't be fully funded, but it gets us to a point where it's a more obtainable project for us to kind of achieve that $1.3 million price tag on that project. And hopefully we'll have some good news for you in September. Yeah.
Well, I think what you should take away from this is we're working on it. We know it's a problem. We're working on it. We've tried, 4 times to run a levy to get more money to do the streets, and the people said no. And we get that. Taxes are high here. We got school taxes, we got lots of taxes, and we understand that. So we're absolutely, this has been a big priority of this board. We're doing everything we can. And really, the way that we've been so successful in our road programs is by getting state money, by getting grants. And it's due to the hard work of Scott in the Public Works Department, Kathleen, and our other staff that we've been able to take our local money and match it with state money what have we gotten in? $10 million?
At least, yeah.
At least $10 million.
More than that.
Yeah, more than that. Over the last
10 years.
10 years to help redo our streets. So let's cross our fingers and hope in a couple weeks we're going to be hearing some good news about your street.
And I'm hoping that you understand that we live this every day as we travel up and down our street. And then when our property taxes, are being paid in January and June, but our streets are still a mess. I mean, people have told me, I don't come to your house because your street is just such a mess. And then when we look at our cars, and my car's relatively new. It's a 2025, but it's got pings in it already. And, I'm thinking, oh, my goodness, what is it going to look like in another year or two just from all these little pebbles that hit my car as I'm going to and from my house? It's disturbing. So I'm doing what I was told to do so that when I go back to all these people on my list, I can tell them, yes, I did talk to our township trustees. And we've got our fingers crossed that something good will come out of this within the next year or so. But, I just wanted to make you aware that it is a concern for us who live on the
Just so you know,
street.
Scott did listen to you when you called him, and we did apply for a grant to
Yep.
try to get it done. It's not like, it's just that we can't magically just do all the streets that we'd like to do. I mean, we have to try to get grants to help us pay for them, and usually the grants are about half. So it
And-
still
and I-
costs the township $650,000, so.
I understand that. I do.
We're working on
And
it.
I'm not trying to be argumentative.
No, I don't think you
No,
are.
not at all.
I just wanted you to
Thank
know,
you for pointing it out.
Scott did listen to you and try to get a grant
Oh,
for
and
it.
I
so
know he
we'll
did,
see.
and I did. I talked to him directly, and it's probably because so many of these other people that I've talked to then called him and said, we've got this crazy lady on Butterfly Court that keeps calling us, so.
No, I think all of us understand.
Yeah.
And Ms. Barnett, if you still have the number for that state rep, tell her to put in a good word for our application.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
Okay. Did you have,
been working on it.
okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, no, he's letting me back to my seat. No.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening to you, too. My name is Mike Brenner. My wife is Ursula over there. We have lived on Butterfly Court since 1979. If you want to do the math real quick, that's 46 years, okay? When we got there, there were maybe 6 houses in the whole place. And we've seen it build out all the way. But speaking about the road, everybody's angry about it. You walk up and down. How many of you have actually driven on Butterfly Court and Springdew?
I have on Springfield, I have not been on
I used to
Butterfly.
live on Galbraith Road,
Okay,
almost right across from Springdew.
okay.
I appraised a house on Butterfly probably 5 years ago.
So out of all of you guys, only, well, I know Scott has been there. So only 2 of you have driven on Butterfly Court. I challenge you tomorrow to drive on Springdew and Butterfly Court. You will be surprised. It is falling apart. Now, having lived there so long, my wife and I have seen the deterioration of that road, and it is so far worse than even you and your imagination could imagine. It is cracking up. You patch it, the patch comes loose, it all turns into rubble. We have to drive over it. Like Ms. Barnett said, my tires are getting eaten up, okay? It needs to be fixed. Really does. Over the years, I have called the people that were in charge before Scott. I haven't talked to Scott because he's relatively new. I've called for years. I get the same thing every year. Next year. We're going to fix it next year. Is that a promise? Yeah, it's a promise. Next year. Well, next year started about 12 years ago. Next year never came. The road continued to deteriorate. Now, I'm a little bit encouraged by what you're saying, but I've heard this before. And it's not real nice because our road is falling apart, and you folks need to drive it to find out just how far it's falling apart. Now, don't want to be mean, but we pay our taxes, just like everybody else. And I will tell you, there has been some discussion that we would put our tax money in escrow until you fix the damn thing. Now, I know that's illegal. You probably put me in jail for it and all that.
It just costs you a bunch of money, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
I don't
They won't
want
put
to.
you in jail, but they'll cost you fines and penalties.
County.
I know.
Not us, but the county.
I hear you.
You're better off coming here and talking to us.
I don't want to do that. I want you to
don't
fix,
mind it.
I want you to fix the road.
Mr. Brenner, it's, I think as you heard us say earlier, earlier to Ms. Barnett, that it's not an awareness issue. We're aware of the problem. It's a math problem. That the amount of money that the township brings in revenue from our road levies annually is not even half the cost of what it would cost at this point to repair those 2 streets. And while I know you pay your taxes, and I don't want to say we're appreciative because that's what you're required to do, we are appreciative. I do want to point out that probably only about a quarter of what you're paying in your property taxes comes to the township. Probably 50% goes to the school district, another quarter goes to the county, and a
Very
quarter
aware.
comes to the township. And as we stated earlier, we're maintaining 92 lane miles of road over 400 streets with $500,000, which is not enough to do even probably half a mile of roadway. So we've really had to rely on a lot of these alternative funding sources, including the grants. And I know hope doesn't buy you a lot, but we are very hopeful that this grant will come through. We've been very successful in the past, and we're doing absolutely everything in our power to make it a nice street again. We hear your concerns, and we're doing everything we can to address it.
Well, in fairness, I do understand somewhat what's going on. I talked to, the best information I got was a guy that came on a street sweeper up and down, because he knows all the streets. And he looks at me and he says, did you know that Springdew and Butterfly Court are the only ones in Springfield Township that are concrete? I go, no. Okay. That's where why so much money is involved according to the street sweeper. Okay? And he even said, what you guys have said, tried to get it from the state, from the county, from wherever. Great, keep going. So I understand to a degree what you're facing, but what we're facing is a falling apart street, okay? And I've been told that by the street sweeper, and I think another person too, that our street, both streets, Springfield and Butterfly Court, are called the worst streets in Springfield Township. And they grade them by letter, is that right? You have a different grading system, and we are graded the worst.
It's graded poor, yeah. There's more than one street graded poor.
Well, I was told, well, the guy told
You
me.
guys are in the club, yes.
We were the worst.
Club you don't want to be in.
We have the privilege on living the worst street in Springfield Township.
No, that's not a
It's not.
distinction you want. The one, and people might be thinking, what's wrong with these dummies? Why are they still trying to do this with 500,000? But the reality is in township government, we can propose taxes, we can't levy any taxes. The people have to do that. And I think part of the problem with this road thing, I can remember going out, one summer we went community by community and we had these little cookouts and we would bring people out and try and sell them on why we needed some more money to fix our streets, and it didn't pass. Came real close, didn't pass. But we tried it 4 times, and I think the problem is when we fix an area, and everybody says, my subdivision's good. I'm not gonna vote for another tax. I could be wrong on that, but it just seems like it works that way. It was hard, people pass our police levies, our fire levies, but when you come to streets, it seems like it's the tough sell. And believe me, if we had more money, Mr. Brenner, I hate to see you here telling me what you're telling me, and you deserve better. And we're going to do everything we can to make that happen. But I just want you and Ms. Barrett to know we're doing it with what? Barnett. I'm sorry, can't read my own writing. I want you to know, though, that we are doing everything we can, within the constraints with the money we have.
Well,
And I know that doesn't get your street fixed, but let's all be hopeful that this grant application we have comes in. And I think Scotty's probably right, because it is concrete, it is going to be more.
Yeah.
That's what makes it doubly expensive.
right, I
We got to take all
understand
that
that.
out.
I understand that. It's a tough sell to ask us for more money because our taxes have gone up, our property taxes have not just gone like this, they've gone like this. And I'm very aware of the school system and the breakouts of all the different issues up and down because we actually read those things, okay? And I'm not so sure, but I was told that Hamilton County is the highest taxed county in Ohio, more so even than Cleveland, and I was told that. And
Cleveland's
then I
higher.
was told,
Because my daughter lives there. Cleveland's higher for their county taxes. Our school taxes are probably the highest by far in the state.
Yeah.
That's where we.
They have higher sales tax up there,
I
and
mean,
that's
yeah,
where they get
our
revenue.
school taxes, last time I figured mine through for the Finneytown schools, it was 56% of what I pay to go to the Finneytown schools.
yeah, well, just to give you an idea, my house is very modest, 1,650 square feet if you look at the auditor thing. We pay over $4,000 a year for the privilege of living in Springfield Township. So please don't talk to us about more money. Please talk to us about fixing our street.
I get it.
So hopefully, we see all of you tomorrow on Butterfly Court. Just drive over and visit us.
I'll be there. I'll drive it.
I'll
Good.
be there too. I've never been on it.
We'll take a look.
Thank you.
Hopefully the grant will come through and you'll come back in a couple months and be a happy camper, even though it won't be done till next year.
Hope so.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Would anybody else like to address the board? Okay, I see nobody does. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor?
Aye. Thank you all for coming.
Adjourn.